welcome to my channel. Hope you are well today because we have another crafty project to get stuck into. In this week's video we are looking at how to use up some old scrap material to make your own DIY scrunchies, and in the video I'm showing you how to make two different types of scrunchies. So you've got your bog standard everyday scrunchie that's just round, and then we've got another one that has an added bow. So I will show you how to make the two versions in this video. All you're going to need is some scrap material from your sewing stash. If you are new to sewing and don't have much material, then you can also use some old clothing that you maybe are chucking out. Again, if it is your first sewing project, I would choose more cotton blend type material because this is a bit easier to sew than some other fabrics, and you need a bit more sewing experience if you're using delicate type fabrics to make a scrunchie. You will also need a sewing machine, but it's not essential. You could actually make these by hand if you are a neat hand sewer and can do it. I prefer the sewing machine because it's faster and I'm not that neat at hand sewing. You will also need an iron to press your material, some pins, a safety pin, and not forgetting some narrow elastic so that you can actually use your scrunchie as it is designed. So if it sounds like something you would like to have a go at, then let's get crafting. To make your DIY scrunchie, you are going to need a strip of fabric, and this is going to measure at 45 centimeters long by 10 centimeters wide. Try to get the measurements as exact as you can, but it doesn't fully matter if you can't and you have got some wonky edges, because this will all scrunch up into the scrunchie once it is sewn. Once you have your strip of fabric, you then want to give it a quick iron with your iron just to get out any creases that may have formed. Then on each end of your strip, fold the material in on itself so it's wrong side to wrong side by approximately 1 centimeter, and press this into place with your iron. This will help later on in the project when you are needing to line up your seams. And finally, you want to then fold your strip of material in half lengthways, right side to right side, and give this a quick press with your iron. Now, if your material is a bit looser and doesn't keep its shape, this is where you would need to use your pins just to pin your material in place. Using 2 pins, you want to mark out on one half of the strip of fabric a small gap where you will be able to turn your scrunchie right side out. This part you will not sew on the sewing machine. Then you want to head over to your sewing machine and just backstitch each end and do a small seam down the whole open edge, backstitching where the start of the gap is, leaving the gap, and then backstitching the other end of the gap and carrying on right to the end of the strip, backstitching at the end also. This creates a tube in your material and helps form the channel for your elastic. On the end furthest away from the gap, use a safety pin and place it in one side of this. This will help pull the material inside itself, and so that your two ends are together, if that makes sense. Keep watching and it hopefully will explain it. This can be quite fiddly, but keep going with it, and if you're using the safety pin, then this will help you guide the material through. You sort of push through with the safety pin and then pull the material from the back off of this just to help pull the material through. Once you have the end through to the other side, you want to make sure that you line up the seams together and make sure the two edges are together, because you're going to sew around the whole of this to attach the two seams together. To do this, you want to place it on your sewing machine with the foot inside the tube, and it should help guide this around. Again, you can do this by hand, but make sure that you do it securely. this should have attached the two ends together. Through the gap that was left, you want to pull the scrunchie right side out. So pull it all out and you will find that it is like an infinity. It will keep going around because we have now attached the two ends together and your DIY scrunchie is taking shape. Now it's time to add in your elastic, and you are going to need a 20cm long piece of narrow elastic for this. Then you want to use the safety pin again and place this into one end of the elastic. This will help thread the elastic through the channel of the scrunchie. Now be careful when doing this that you don't lose the other end inside, so you can actually pin this to the outside of the scrunchie just to help keep it in place. Once the elastic is fully through, you then want to attach the two ends together. I did this with a zigzag stitch on the sewing machine, but you can tie this or you can hand sew it. And finally, you want to close up the gap of your scrunchie. Now this can be done by using the sewing machine and a top stitch along the edge, or you can hand sew it doing a ladder stitch to create an invisible closing, and then your DIY scrunchie is complete. To create a scrunchie with a bow, you want to follow the steps to make your scrunchie and then cut out another strip of material measuring 22 centimeters in length by 10 centimeters in height. Using an iron, press out any creases that may have formed in the material, and then you want to fold it in half on itself, so right side to right side again, and press this to create a crease. Again, you may need to use pins to secure the two halves together. Starting in one of the top corners, you want to begin sewing a curve, bringing this into a straight stitch along the edge of your open edge of the fabric. Leave a small gap. Carry on sewing a straight stitch until you get closer to the corner and begin curving this up again. Then, using the gap you have left, you want to turn your material right side out, pushing out the corners fully. I needed to use the end of my seam ripper just to fully push out all of the fabric. This will then give you a piece of material that sort of resembles the end of a bow. Now, my curves weren't exact to each other, but it still works all the same. Use your iron to press out your newly created strip of material, making sure the two open ends of the gap are tucked in securely, because you are going to then head over to your sewing machine and close these up with a top stitch. Again, you can use a ladder stitch if you are hand sewing. Then, to attach your bow to your newly made scrunchie, find the middle part of the scrunchie where you have joined the two ends together and place your newly sewn piece of ribbon around this, tying it securely in a knot, and it will give you the two ends of a bow. And then your DIY scrunchie with a bow is complete. So you have how to make your own DIY scrunchies, really simple and easy sewing project to have a go at, as well as being able to use up some of your old material that you probably haven't been able to put into some of your projects. As well as that, you can use any other material like I said before, so any old clothes, repurpose them and get customising and creative with making some scrunchies. Now, scrunchies did go out of favour. I know I used to wear them as a kid and then thought I would never ever wear them again once I was growing up, but they have come back into fashion, and because we can make them a bit more cuter, why not have a go at making your own? So if you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to keep up with more of my crafting antics. Hopefully I will be able to post some more travel antics once this travel ban and everything and the whole chaos has finished. So for now it is just crafty videos going up onto the channel. Check out my blog linked below as well, because there's a ton more information on Ames's antics. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. Bye!